phones changed everything. Having
Oh
a
yeah.
computer in your pocket changed everything. And so it was actually very nice that we looked up. Think about how we don't look up anymore. Nobody looks up. You just
Yeah.
look down. You don't look up. It's a really weird thing, and all of our thumbs are messed up. So
Did you always want to be a writer?
I think I always knew I had something to say, but just afraid no one wanted to hear it.
She doesn't like you. She just thinks you're rich.
Hey, don't listen to her. You're doing great, buddy.
What are you thinking about?
Nothing.
I've listened to so many different people telling me who I should be.
What are you doing?
It's different with Lindsay because she's special.
That is actually very sweet.
It's time to give up and come home. I belong in this city.
You've been hit by 3 cabs.
At very low speeds.
hi.
Hey,
How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Steven, what are you drinking there? Coffee to stay up or
no, this is some decaf chai,
wow, oh look at that.
which is sort of
I
all
like the
sorts of
flavor.
mixed messages.
I've been talking to the others too. I guess I came up on a theme here. What did you guys do in 1999 that you remember? Because I think that's a pretty fun thing to get. I've been hearing so far.
That's funny. I mean, I remember everyone saying that the world was going to end, which was interesting, especially given the years we've had since, the 20 plus years we've had since. It was like, that's not when the world was going to end. But I remember people saying, which we talked about when we were developing the show, like planes were going to fall out of the sky, like the computers can't take 0, and I just remember that kind of like the thought of that. And it's so funny to look back now and be like, the computers took 0 just fine. Like there was no issue.
Yeah, I remember the day itself. I remember December 31st, and like because of the time difference, I remember like the New Year celebrations were sort of rolling, and you knew like, oh, the world didn't end in Australia.
So I guess we're okay. Yeah, that's right.
So I remember, but my mom was like a Y2K prepper.
Oh,
really?
All sorts of stuff. Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
She's like a life prepper. I mean, she's sort of ready for whatever the next Y2K is.
Steven, maybe she's got a bunker somewhere still ready.
Maybe. We might need that now.
Yeah, exactly.
Ask her, let me know. I mean,
Yes.
I think another thing, I just thought about this the other day. I'm like, could I just not have a phone anymore? Could I actually just not have a phone anymore? Which the answer is 100% yes. I think for people who are my age, we know the answer is 100% yes, because in 1999, we did not have phones in our pockets. Like everyone did not have a phone. And there was something so refreshing about life then, and it's hard to remember, but certainly something we used to fuel the show was like the fact that there were no phones, because to get to know someone that in the first episodes, a phone call between the two of them, between Lindsay and Miguel, that's how it was that on the phone, like tied to a line, like dragged under your doors, like, 2 a.m. really bearing your soul, that for some reason, cell phones don't do that. They have the ability to do it, but people just don't, I think text eliminated that. And so that was something that I think for those of us who were like, in dating years in 1999 and kind of like meeting people, I was just out of college, like it was significantly different. And it's a huge reason we took that period of time for the show, was because it like phones changed everything. Having a computer in your pocket changed everything. And so it was actually very nice that we looked up. Think about how we don't look up anymore. Nobody looks up. You just look down. You don't look up. It's a really weird thing, and all of our thumbs are messed up. So
truth, Kristen, preach to the choir. I remember vividly these days too. Steven, I'm a fan of like the multiverses and all that sort of stuff. Big fan of a show that you were a big part of, Masters of Sex. You do a crossover here, Masters of Sex and Up Here. What do you think would happen there?
That's interesting. Well, like if Masters and Johnson somehow went through a time portal and ended up in 1999, totally, there's a little bit of a mismatch, but I'm sure it could work it out.
That'd be fun. And Kristen, you can lend some music to that too, right? And put in some good scores potentially.
I would watch that show. I would definitely watch that show.
I love that. you know, the thing about this, I just love that transporting to this time period, but also New York's a character here. Could this show been done outside of New York potentially, or without New York being a character in a setting where we have something completely different here?
You know, that was always part of the DNA of the show, was that it was about two people in New York City in 1999, partly because the show was inspired by Bobby and Kristen's real life and their early years in New York City. And partly, you know, aside from Danielle, like everyone involved had also sort of spent their salad years in New York City. And that feeling of being young and having no money and no idea what the future held. There's something about that in New York that I think spoke to all of us and felt like it's certainly not the first series to be set in New York. But something we really wanted to find with the show was, can we show a New York that hasn't been shown a million times? So we were always looking for, like, what's not Central Park and what's not, you know, the Brooklyn Bridge. Like, where are spots in New York that even people that live here haven't been, and the parts of New York that are really pretty ugly and gnarly and gross, because that's this place too.
Perfectly said. Gotta wrap, but this was so much fun, you guys. And thanks for taking me on a memory trip lane to 1999 in the show and just what you said. So,
thank you.
Our pleasure. Nice to meet you. Thanks so much.
Bye.